Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a very exciting video because I'm going to show you everything that I made throughout 2025. I feel like my sewing journey last year was trying out a lot of different sewing pattern brands, sewing a lot of different things besides just dresses, and also expanding a lot of my skills and learning a lot of new techniques. A little backstory though, last year I didn't travel anywhere outside of Canada, so I didn't really have an excuse to sew anything like super fun or like cute summer dresses. I do have a couple dresses, but yeah, I feel like in 2025 I sewed a lot more practical things and a lot of things that I could wear every day. So without further ado, let's just get into everything that I made last year. First on the list is this trench coat. I would say that this is probably my most complicated make that I have ever made, but I would also say that I learned so much when I was making this. So this is the Idayne trench coat from Vicky Sews. I had actually cut this out and started it at the end of 2024, and then I finished it a couple days into the new year. So this is a trench with a double-breasted front. We have this back yoke piece, we have a belt, some details on the sleeves, we have welt pockets, we have a fully lined inside, and then even a vent at the back. So yeah, lots was learned sewing this, but this was also really nice to work on because it comes with a huge instruction booklet as well as video tutorials. So I was able to follow along and really like look at things a certain way when I didn't know how to do things. So for example, sewing the vent, I haven't sewn a vent since I was in fashion school, and even then like I remember struggling with it. So the fact that I did this was just absolutely amazing. I actually also made a sewing vlog of me working on this, so you'll get to see everything that I learned and all the ups and downs and everything. But yeah, I really like this. I made it out of this olive twill from Blackbird Fabrics, and then the lining was a deluxe lining that I had thrifted, so that was really great too. I chose a brass for all of the buckles and grommets. I will say it was kind of hard to find the right size of buckles and notions for everything that I needed, considering it is a European brand, but I did my best and I think it still looks really cute. I could always adjust it one day if I find the correct size, but yeah, I think it looks really nice. What else can I say about this jacket? I got a lot of wear out of it once the weather started getting a little bit warmer going into the spring season, but yeah, I just absolutely love it. It's super oversized. It hits like basically like mid-calf on me. I think I did end up making it a little bit shorter too, but yeah, really proud of this project. I think it looks literally like store-bought and I am just so proud of it. I genuinely just can't believe that I made this trench. So while I didn't travel outside of Canada, I did take some smaller trips this year. So these three makes were for a little cabin cross-country skiing trip that I took over the winter. So I knew this trip was coming up and I had bookmarked this pattern from Friday Pattern Company. I think it's the Pogonip Pullover. I could have just made one, but I decided to make two more. So we have this one and this one as well. What I love about this pattern is just how customizable it is. You can literally make each of these panels a different fabric if you wanted. I think the original just kind of looks like this with the two contrast fabrics, but again, you can do whatever you want. You can make the back a different fabric, the sleeves a different fabric, you have like the pockets there, even like the collar and the placket in the front. You can make literally everything a different color. So I went with these three options here. Admittedly, I haven't worn this one that much. I don't really know why I chose this like sunflower fleece. I just really liked it on the website when I saw it. And I do actually really like it in person too, but yeah, it is just kind of like very like grandma chic. So this is more of like a wearing around the house kind of sweater. And then these two were awesome for my trip. So a couple of details. I went with some brass snaps there. We also have two pockets on either side there. I ended up lining the pocket with like a nice contrast quilting cotton there. And then the sleeves are finished with some elastic as well as the hem on the bottom. Admittedly, I haven't worn these that much throughout the winter season, mostly because the sleeves are a little bit tight on me. So I literally just have to like unstitch a little bit and then like fix all of the elastics just to make them a little bit bigger. But I have to do that on all three. So I'm just kind of lazy. But yeah, really, really nice sweater. It was also my first time working with like a fleece like this, and I actually really liked sewing it. I did do an adjustment for the collar. I ended up just like hand stitching the collar down. I think the pattern calls for a stitch in the ditch method, but I think this finish just looks a lot nicer. So yeah, really, really great sweater. I have a little bit of construction going on in the house right now, so hopefully the sound quality isn't too bad. But the next make is this bag. So this is just one of those kits where you stitch everything together by hand using a saddle stitch. All of the pieces are already cut out and finished for you. So I have made a couple of these bags before. I think the company is called Popsewing. I had this one left over, so I was like, let's just make this one. But yeah, this is a really nice like big tote with really long straps to wear like this. And then it's finished with a buckle closure, and then inside you have like 3 compartments there. So we have the zipper compartment and then the 2 sides. I really liked this bag. I haven't worn it that much, but yeah, just a really nice like 2 or 3 day project if you want to do something with your hands. I really like these kits for that. A pattern brand that you're going to see a lot of this year is Matchy Sewing Club. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, I really wanted to try out a lot of different pattern brands this year. So one of them was Matchy. They just make the best like beginner patterns, and they're super simple to use too. So the first pattern I tried out from them this year was this top and this one. So this is the Wavelength top, I think. I made this one first just to kind of test it out, try the pattern out, and check the sizing. So then I made this one, and I made the exact same one for my friend for her birthday too. But yeah, just a really great like gathered top with this wide neckline, some cuffs around like the sleeve opening, and then you have like a gathered bottom and then a slightly higher gather at the back there. So yeah, it's just a really nice simple top. It can make a statement if you're gonna choose like a more bold fabric like this, or if you do something a little bit more simple, then it's like more of a basic top. I just really like this pattern. This is like a 2 to 3 hour project for me, but even if you're a beginner, like you could probably pump this out in a day. And yeah, it's just a really easy pattern to use. I also think the size is very forgiving. I think I did a medium, and so far in all of the Matchy Sewing Club patterns, I have just been doing the size medium, and it works for me all across the board. So because the patterns are all like pretty loose and flowy, you really can't mess up on sizing. So yeah, really great pattern. I really recommend this pattern if you're a beginner. In terms of new pattern releases last year, this was one of the patterns that I had my eyes on. This is from, I think, Thalia's Threads. I also made a video on me making this pattern, but yeah, this is just a really cute and unique bag. I think the original actually is like this length, so you wear it more like over the shoulder, but I did the extension so that I could wear it crossbody like this. But this bag just has a really interesting detail with all of these like little waves all along the bag, and then all along the bottom and the sides there. I ended up using this heavyweight denim with this like red contrast, which I think I saw one of the examples being made in this color combination, and I just fell in love with it. I also lined the inside with some red there to give it a bit of a pop. So really, really cute bag. The only thing that I would change is I really need to work on how to get my bias binding not twisted. I really tried, but it was also, I think, because I made my own bias binding and this wasn't like 100% cotton, so it didn't really want to hold the creases that well. But overall, I still really love it. I think it's a really unique bag. I can also see myself making more of these bags in the future. There's actually also 2 different size ranges for this bag. So I think I did the big one, and then there's a mini version, which is really adorable too. On to some of the dresses that I made last year. So this is a sheer dress from Vicky Sews. I had actually cut everything out in 2024, and then I kind of just left all the pieces there. I was like, whenever I get around to sewing this, I will. Mostly just because, as you can tell, there is a lot of shearing on the front and the back there. So that just took some time, but I got around to sewing it last year. So the front and the back is relatively the same. They are different pattern pieces, but there's not too much difference there. The sleeves are finished with some elastic around the cuff there, which gives it a really nice look. And then the shoulders have some elastic there. So overall, a really easy dress to fit. My only complaint is that I wish there were pockets. I was gonna add my own pockets, but because this fabric is actually just slightly sheer, I thought that you would see the pocket bag or like the shape of the pocket, which I don't love. I didn't get that much wear out of this dress. I'm hoping I can get more wear out of it this year. If not, my sister-in-law and I are pretty much the same size, and I think this dress would really suit her too. So maybe I'll end up giving it to her. But yeah, really cute dress. I'm not sure if I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but this year I also dabbled in pattern testing. So this was one of the dresses that I pattern tested for Sew Bake Make. This is the Strawberry Shortcake dress. It's so cute. I did make a test version, and then this is my final version. So I used this linen from Blackbird Fabrics. I think this is one of their best-selling fabrics of the year too. Maybe not this shade, but like this fabrication. This linen here that I'm wearing is the same type of linen too. So this dress is a slightly drop waist with pockets. We have the gathered skirt there. We have elastic all along the waist there and under the bust. And then we have a drawstring around the bust and then some elastic at the back too. So much room for fit changes if you need them. But yeah, it's just a really cute, flattering summer dress. I absolutely loved pattern testing this. I was really excited for this pattern. I think the dress is just so cute and suits so many body shapes. I think this pattern comes with two different views. So I did the view that has the elastic channels along the waist and bust there, although I think the other version has some drawstrings along these channels. So if you want to adjust the dress that way, you can do that too. But yeah, really cute, really great for summer, and I just love it. We have some more tops coming up. So this is another Matchy Sewing Club pattern. This is the Collage Gather top. I had some scraps left over from making this top, from making some other pieces last year, and I decided let's try this pattern out and let's just make a top out of scraps. I made a video of me making this top too, and I really like this top. I think I really like it mostly because I did it basically in like black and white, so it's so versatile. I can wear it with so many things. But same thing across the board with all of their patterns. The fit is just so nice because it's so loose and airy. You can't really go wrong with choosing a size. But yeah, the neckline is finished again with the bias tape there. The sleeves are finished with like a tiny cuff there, which you can also do a contrast fabric, which is super cute. In the video that I made this top, you will notice that I messed up on some of the panels because there's just so much going on. They do include some labels for you when you're making this top, so I definitely recommend using them so that you don't mess up like a front panel from the back panel. But overall, really cute top. I have worn this so much. I think this top has become one of my staples in my closet. This top is a little bit of a scrap project top too, so I had used a big remnant that I had left from the Strawberry Shortcake dress and I made this top. This is also from Matchy Sewing Club, so you can kind of tell by now that they have a very like specific silhouette of tops at least. But yeah, really cute, really good for beginners too if you're wanting to practice your gathering or setting in sleeves. But the sleeves have gathers, so that makes it a lot easier to set the sleeve in, and then also finishing the neckline with bias binding. I wore this a lot to farmers markets over the summer. I think it's so cute. I put in a little tomato tag as well, and this is just a detail that I can see, but I love it. I finished the edge with this like bright red bias binding that I had made. So cute. The back though, because this was a remnant, I didn't have enough for this back yoke piece, so I just kind of pieced together some pieces there, but my hair kind of covers this back area anyway, so you can't really tell that, you know, it's 3 different panels. But yeah, overall, really cute. Great top, great with a pair of shorts or some jeans and some sandals. Just really cute. The next top here is from Vicky Sews. I don't really know why I wanted to make this top, but I think I saw the pattern and I kind of just like fell in love with it, and I was just so intrigued by how everything was put together basically. So there's a lot going on in this top. It's super ruffly. Admittedly, because it's just such a statement, I haven't worn it that much, but I learned so much when I was sewing this top. A key detail of this top is these like big balloon sleeves here. I was just so interested in how these sleeves were put together. So it's basically 3 different panels to create this like really big poofy shape, and then the ruffles are also attached to it. We have ruffles on the front, we have ruffles around this Peter Pan collar. I know the top looks kind of complicated, but it was actually a lot easier to put together than I thought. And again, with Vicky Sews patterns, they have just such insane like detailed instructions. So yeah, you really learn a lot from working with their patterns. I made this top out of some linen that I had thrifted. I think this was a bed sheet, but yeah, it worked out perfectly for this top. A pattern brand that was new to me this year was Silver Saga Patterns, and I fell in love with them. It's a pattern brand that was on my list for a while, but I had always been a little bit intimidated. All of the patterns look so complicated, but after actually working on one, they're totally manageable. So this was the first dress from Silver Saga that I made this year. This is the Juliet Dress. I made it out of this heavyweight gingham from the Fabric Club. I did make a fit sample of this initially before I made it out of this fabric, just because I wasn't sure about the finishing details, and again, I was intimidated by the pattern, so I just wanted to test it out first, but it worked out totally fine. And I am glad that I actually made the fit sample, because something I have noticed across all of her patterns is that they run just slightly short. So I am on the shorter side and I have a shorter torso too, but I found that I had to lengthen this bodice a little bit, and I've had to do that with all of the patterns that I have used from Silver Saga, so just something to keep in mind. But yeah, this dress is just so cute. We have some elastic around the neckline, these big voluminous sleeves. It goes down to midi length, and you can also cinch in the waist just slightly with these ties here. I think I ended up adding a couple more buttons than the pattern called for, but yeah, really nice make. I just love this. I can't wait to make this again, maybe in a lighter fabric, because this is a very like summery dress, and I use this heavyweight gingham, so it gets quite hot in the summer. But yeah, I can definitely see myself making this again, maybe in like a linen or a viscose, and I think it would flow really nicely too. The next Silver Saga Patterns is another top. So this is the new release from her this year. This is the Celine top. I absolutely love this top. When you get this pattern, you will actually get 6 or 7 different views too. So I can't remember the view I did, but I really like this one. I made it out of this like lightweight viscose that I had saved from Blackbird Fabrics for a couple years now, so I don't think they have it anymore. But I ended up making a second one for my sister-in-law for her birthday too. In her version, I actually made these ties adjustable so she could cinch in the neckline a little bit more, because on my version, I didn't do that, and this does gape open a little bit, so something to keep in mind. I think there is a pattern hack now to do that, or the pattern might even like have instructions to add that in, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, overall, I really love this top. I love the sleeves with the elastic detail. The ruffle at the bottom is so cute. The ruffle around the neckline is so cute. If you watch the video where I made this top, I did mess up a little bit, so you can see I had to patch this in here. This was a mistake that I had made just at the very end when I was trimming away to finish off the bias around the neckline, but it's under the ruffle, you can't see it anyways. I loved pairing this with a black skirt or jeans over the summer, and I can't wait to wear it again this year. Another thing that I pattern tested this year was this set here from Sew Bake Make Again. This is the Sourdough Set. I think that's what it's called. With this entire set, I ended up not making a final version. This was just kind of like the version I made and wore all summer. So we have the pants here. I made them out of this linen that I had thrifted. I absolutely love them. If you're going for that like easy breezy like old money summer aesthetic, this set is so perfect for that, with just like some gold jewelry. It's perfect. So these have a paper bag waistband detail. These cinch up with elastic, but also the drawstrings on the side here. We have pockets, which we love. And then a detail I love with these pants is the really wide hem. And especially if you're going to use like a linen, I think that wide hem really gives like some weight to the bottom, and it makes the pants just look really flattering. So these are the pants. I think there's another view too. I can't remember what it looks like, but yeah, I chose this view to do and I love it. And then to go with the pants, I pattern tested this top. So this one just has like a boat neck detail, wide armholes, and then a really wide hem at the bottom too. Such a simple top to do. It's great for beginners, and it just looks really good either paired with those pants or literally like with jeans or shorts too. Because I made it out of this lightweight linen, I wore it so much during the hot summer days. And then because I love the pattern so much, I ended up making another view of the top. So this is the other view. It's basically the same top, except it just cinches in with some drawstrings at the hem there. Really great top too. Again, looks the same, but I love this like drawstring detail. It gives a really interesting look. And same thing, looks great with the pants, looks great with jeans, shorts. Made it out of this linen, so it's super airy. Can't wait to wear it again this summer. We're on to some of the last makes now. So these are another pattern from Matchy Sewing Club. Clearly they were my favorite pattern brand this year, but I had these on my list ever since I saw the pattern come out. These are the Apron pocket pants. They are just the sweetest thing. I made the shorts version. I definitely want to make the pants version. I have the fabric and everything ready for it. I just haven't had the time to do it yet, but I figured I would try it out just with the shorts first. So again, I had a remnant left from making that Silver Saga patterns dress. So I used what I had left to make these shorts. These just have really nice big pockets, elastic waistband again, and then the key detail here is just these ruffles along the edges. So it looks like one of those like retro aprons, which is super cute. When I make these pants again though, I think I'm gonna add some patch pockets to the back. I just love having as many pockets as possible on all of my garments. So yeah, really cute. So yeah, really cute pattern. Also a really great beginner pattern with something really interesting that looks kind of complicated, but is actually really easy to do. Okay, so we're on to my last garment make of the year. This is from Silver Saga Patterns. I think this is the Eleonora dress. This has been on my list for so long, and I finally got around to doing it. This was actually the very last thing that I kind of sewed before life just got really busy. So this is made out of a block printed cotton from Blackbird Fabrics. I purchased a lot of their block printed fabrics. I have a lot of them in my collection right now. I'll be set for any spring and summer sewing this year. But yeah, this dress is just, again, so dreamy and so beautiful. We have shearing actually for the waist, and then I think, no, this is an elastic neckline. It's been a while since I have worn this dress, so I'm just trying to remember all the details. But yeah, it cinches in at the waist really nicely with all of the shearing. There are, again, pockets, which we love. I think I ended up shortening it to make it more of like a midi length, but you can definitely lengthen it to make it maxi. The sleeves are a kind of like raglan style, I would say. And then we have some elastic around the sleeve hems there. The neckline also adjusts with this tie and elastic. So again, very versatile. I think you can wear this dress like off the shoulder like this, but I prefer it just like covering my shoulders. But yeah, really cute dress. I actually have another fabric that I want to make the Eleonora dress out of. I think it's the same fabric that's actually shown on the pattern itself. So yeah, this was actually kind of my test dress before I used the actual fabric that I want to use. After I made this dress, things just got really busy. I think the last time I sewed anything for myself was actually like mid-July. So this was my last project. And then I ended up sewing a couple other things, not for myself, that I'm going to show you now. So you may or may not know that we got a puppy over the summer. I really thought that I would have the same amount of time to sew once we got our dog, but that was not the case. That was definitely a life adjustment. But one thing I did make for her was this bed. So I ended up making her own dog bed, and she loved sleeping in this when we were at our condo. But ever since we moved to our house, she has just kind of been sleeping on the couch or on our bed or on the floor, so she's not really using it that much. But it is a project that I'm really proud of. I can't believe I made a dog bed. Like, that's kind of insane. I've also made some dog clothes for her since we got her. And then going into the end of this year, we also had a lot of friend and family birthdays, so I ended up doing a lot of sewing, not for myself, but for them. So I made my mother-in-law like a cardigan wrap kind of thing from Vicky Sews. I made my brother-in-law bra, a sweater from Vicky Sews. I made my friend an apron using some fabric from my own business. And yeah, just a lot of sewing for a lot of other people. So that is everything that I made in 2025. I can't tell if I made more stuff than 2024, but I felt like this year I just learned a lot more skills. I tried to sew a lot of different things rather than just like all the same thing, and I think that worked out really well. I wish that I was able to do a lot more sewing in the later half of the year, but life just got really busy. But now that we are in 2026, I'm really excited to sew this year. I will say that one of my goals this year is also to pick up some knitting. I don't know if I'll be able to knit my own sweater. That is the goal, but right now I am just trying it out, and I've been knitting my own like fingerless gloves, and it's been a journey, but I think with a little bit of practice I'll be able to really get into knitting this year. In terms of sewing goals, I don't really know what I really want to sew this year. I have so many patterns on my list, and I have so much fabric too, but if you watched the previous video where I showed you my current sewing studio, you'll also know that we are moving, and we are moving my sewing studio to our house. So I think once I have a space that's 100% mine, I'm gonna be able to do a lot more personal sewing, and I'm just really excited for that. We'll see what I end up doing this year. I haven't actually sewn anything yet for myself. I've just been focused on trying to get life organized. But yeah, once the new sewing studio is set up, I'm gonna go ahead and film that and show you all of the little things that I'm gonna do to it. I'm really excited. So I think that's everything that I wanted to say. I'm gonna go ahead and film all of the B-roll of these garments now, and I will see you in the next video.